This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
If anyone can talk a Balgarth out of a fight, it's you.
If anyone can keep us alive, it's you.
But if you ask me what my calling would be, I'd say that of a defender of my friends.
You don't need to change anything.
I would give my life to see them through.
I apparently only get into trouble when I'm around you lot.
I never want to have that kind of power over somebody.
She lands upon the deck, but just on her toes, like a dancer, like a ballet dancer, as if the weight of sin has yet to fall on her shoulders.
And the light of nature will be brought to them.
We haven't done this before. Does that make us professional?
That would make you amateurs at best.
At best, I like that.
I've had a hard time finding answers in my life.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Where are you from, Ezekiel?
Wherever your wife goes when she dreams, and I'll walk away.
Fuck you and fuck your will.
There's no redemption for the likes of you.
You were never loved as a child.
How do you want to do this? Well, Michael, you ready to listen?
Yeah, I think so. I got as much as I don't fucking know. Sure, go for it.
Okay. Alright, guys, so previously, Chapter 32, Daydream Basque. Stopping in Hamel on your pilgrimage to Nymonet, you felt uneasy about the small hamlet and its possible connection to the Amber Witch. Staking out, some members waited and observed the enchanting chain pillar while the rest of the group watched and asked questions of the communal barn. After some time, a faint light came to the pillar, and the familiar voice of Daphne in Ball's head suggested allowing the light to guide them with the flower to the Daydream Basque. Following some deliberation, the Scales decided to follow the light for several days to the marshlands of the Salamis coast. Here, a Verdana escorted y'all the rest of the way, where several other Verdana and Daphne waited. A conversation took place, one where Daphne desired her flower back, but the Bronze Scales were unsure. After making it clear that the flower would not be freely given, Daphne took steps to take it. Meli countered Daphne's first spell before a column of flames were brought down upon the party, as you all fought the Amber Witch and her band of Verdana. Ezekiel flew above the flames on eagle's wings as Kalvyn headed off a number of Verdana before retreating to pull the unconscious Meli from the flames. Vesper called upon the lion-headed, six-winged angels of Aine as Amsen inspired his comrades, including Ball, to strike down the Verdana and the witch. As Daphne took wounds, her beautiful form was slowly chipped away, revealing a deep violet, blue, and vile appearance beneath. She fled, first through mist, then through water, with the tentacled form of Ezekiel just behind. Just before she escaped into some sort of hole in a large tree stump, Ezekiel called upon the roots and vines to entangle her, allowing Ellory to show her what betrayal from a friend felt like, the emotional pain leaving the witch no more. We come back to the story here. You all stand upon the wild beach, the smell of salt waving through the wind with the blue sky above. The sand is charred and glassed from the flames, soaking the blood spilt. A few barrels and crates are scattered with a tent nearby. Beyond is a small sandbar island just 100 feet offshore, where Daphne tried to flee and where Ezekiel followed. What would you like to do?
I loot the body.
Yes,
sure. I'm less interested in her materials. I want to know what the hell she is, if I have any way of identifying.
Maybe a Arcana or Nature check.
I'll go with Nature, because I think I'm trained in that. Sorry.
Didn't we do that last time? I thought we'd choose like a hag or something of that type. Is that the thing? Never mind. I'm shutting up. Go ahead.
No, I think we did.
You may be right. I don't know, but
we might
do it
have
again with a 21. So with that nature score of a 21, you definitely know she is not natural. She is not of this world. This isn't some just old woman. Not even accounting for her beautiful form being chipped away to reveal this. She is from another place. You have some vague understanding from stories of another place, a dreamland called the Feywild, where creatures like this, these witches, are said to come from. She may be one. Looking over, you can see her form of dark, matted black hair with a widow's peak, vile, scarred, and warted face, and these drab clothing with little bones tied as necklaces and bracelets and just hanging off of her robes. You notice something else. A necklace on the center that seems to move. Looking at it closer, you can see a silver chain that leads to a small sphere about the size of a D20. Black glass. You see something move within it. Looking closer, you see what looks like a purple ruby gemstone shifting around in the shape of a pupil, resembling some sort of glass and gemmed eyeball as it looks up at you, seeming to meet your gaze.
I am going to pick it up, give it the finger, and then I'm going to wrap some kind of cloth around it until we can figure out what that is.
Okay, easy enough to do. You pull it loose and do so.
I know Meli was really badly hurt, but I don't know how badly, so I'd probably be checking her.
Anyone who's not hurt, want to do a quick scan just to make sure there's nothing coming out of that cave?
Yeah, I'll help with that.
Okay.
I'll go with Ellory, since I'm not too badly hurt.
Sure, so you'll swim over. Meli is at less than half.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Kalvyn lays on his hands.
So she's 17
I
now.
bet he does.
It's 17. 17 works, that's fine.
Meli's fine. Her non-magical clothes are still burnt. Her hair is shorter, being kind of singed away. But her wounds and some of the burning scars are gone.
Great.
Ellory and Amsen and Ezekiel, are you helping them look as well?
Yeah, I'm over there.
Okay. So all of y'all or one of y'all at advantage roll an investigation check.
Not it.
I'm good at those if somebody wants to give me advantage.
Okay.
Alright, well my first roll was a 19 natural. And my second roll is worse, so that's a 25 investigation.
Okay. So moving over to the tree stump. You see it's maybe a 5-foot tall stump where the rest of the tree is gone. And there's a crack in the center that's maybe 4 feet wide. Looking down, you see there's a hole. You actually see there's a hatch that's open currently. And down the hole, you see a ladder. It goes down for maybe 30 feet before you see water. And the ladder enters into the water. You can't see much beyond that.
Well, it's another water cave.
Do we want to take a look down there?
Well,
Or maybe wait until everybody's had a chance to rest up a bit first?
I would rather wait until everybody's had a chance to rest up first. We all remember the last time we went into the water cave.
Yeah.
Might be smart. Amsen, I found this on that, whatever that witch was, and I'll pull out the necklace and, briefly uncover it to see the creepy eye-like thing.
Yeah. And when he does so briefly, you again see the black glass with a purple ruby inside that looks around.
Would you like me to identify this?
If you could, that'd be great, just to know what we're dealing with. It unsettles me.
I can. I need about 10 minutes to do it, or so, 10, 11 minutes.
Well, everyone, should we gather up, have a rest?
Yes, please.
Trying to see if there's anything I can do just to block off that passage, but I don't think there is. Not today. Ooh, how big is the opening that goes into the water?
It's maybe about 4 feet in diameter.
I freeze a 5-foot cube over it with shaped water. Let me see how long that lasts. Freeze. Yep. Unfreezes in 1 hour. So for the next hour, that is frozen.
Okay. So with the top of that water, solid block of ice, sealing that off at least for an hour. Amsen, you take out, I believe you got a black pearl from Alejandro?
Yes, and I'll take out my wizard's spell book.
Sure. So he brings out his book and the black pearl and begins looking through it, almost like it's an eyeglass looking at this other eye, inspecting it and beginning the ritual. The rest of you, what are you guys doing? Kalvyn has just healed up Meli and is kind of helping her to her feet.
When Ezekiel gets back, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level on him.
If we're taking a rest, you might want to save it. I've got hit dice out of character. I have hit dice plenty, so if we're taking a rest, save the spells just in case there's more of these bitches.
Then I will healer's kit, Ezekiel, probably myself because I'm hurting, Amsen, and Ball and Kalvyn are mostly fine, right?
I think Ball's going to be kind of a little bit away from you guys, just kind of cooling off in the water, so you probably wouldn't be able to healer's kit him anyway.
Alright, I'll heal the others, and then I'll go hang out with Ball. So let's see. So Ezekiel. Yeah, Ezekiel's good. You can take a full hit die.
So are y'all all taking a short rest at this point? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, Amsen, I missed it literally by 1 point. And then, great, I can take one awesome.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your hit die. Ball. After a minute or so, the deep reddish-orange flames eventually die down. Your anger stilling enough for you to begin to kind of patch your wounds. And before the short rests begin for Amsen, you finish your ritual before beginning your own short rest, in which case you identify this thing. And I will pull up what it is, because it is a thing. This is a witch eye. A witch or some sort of hag could use this to see through what this eye sees. So if there's an entity that's connected to this eye, they could focus their attention and look through it as if they were there. It can be destroyed, and you know that it has sight beyond just the mundane.
Okay. I will tell the group that, but more specifically to Ezekiel, because I know that he was very interested in what this thing was.
Well, I don't particularly like the idea that something else is looking through it. Should we try and destroy it, cover it up and hide it?
Something, anyway. If we can't destroy it, then maybe we could just bury it.
True. We'll go try and put it on a very deep part of the ocean. Though that witch had powerful magic, they might be able to find it.
Right, but at least it's not on us.
It can be destroyed, or it should be able to be destroyed.
Well, Kalvyn, want to smash it?
Oh, okay. Kalvyn stomps on it.
Okay, give me an attack roll, Kalvyn.
If I'm just using basic strength, I don't know. I don't doubt proficiency applies to this.
No,
it's an 11.
You get proficiency.
So
it
it's a 14.
Okay, 11 would hit anyway. You smash on it with your armored foot, pulling it up, and you see the crushed glass, shattered glass, and even whatever gemstone was in there was frail before, and that purple ruby is just in tiny shards that kind of mixes into the sand under your foot. You see a little bit of purplish black energy or smoke kind of sizzles out of it for the next minute or so before dying out.
Kalvyn will stop, like, kind of scrape his foot in the sand, like when you step in poop and you're trying to get it off. Just make sure that all the remnants are gone.
Okay, you do so.
I'll go over to Ball, if he's still kind of off by himself.
Yeah, I think, so Ball we're just kind of, like maybe waist deep, so for you, maybe a little, like, I don't know. Yeah, like you have to kind of get a little wade, whatever the word is.
Tread water.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm an experienced swimmer. And then once Ball kind of like cools off a bit, then he'll kind of make his way to shore and start to patch his wounds.
Okay, I'll wait for you on the shore then, and I'll talk in Giant. Are you okay, Ball?
I think so.
Are you sure?
I don't know why I got so angry.
Because she lied to you. Your anger is perfectly justified. That was a lot.
I'm the one that chooses who I believe.
Well, we can't always be right 100% of the time.
Paul kind of like looks across the shore to where all the dead bodies are and says, I'm responsible for what I do with my blade as well.
Yes. As we all are.
I think I'm going to go save her. You don't think I've been praying enough?
I don't think that has anything to do with it. How much you pray. I prayed every night, every day, and well, you've actually had more answers, more of her presence than I have, for the most part.
I don't feel very in control recently.
Well, a lot's been happening recently. You've been catching fire, I've noticed. A lot. This whole thing with Daphne, with the rapier. A lot's happened. Not just recently, but, ever since we all got back together. It was Orcesis and Doustax and the Gullah. And I don't think you and I ever really got to talk much about that. Are you okay with that? When we died and came back, we didn't really get to talk about it. And I know it's been a while, but also not that long.
I believe Meli wanted us to have the second chance. I'm okay with that.
I'm glad we got to come back. It's the dying in the first place.
We're stronger now.
We are. But just because we're stronger doesn't mean that we're always okay. And if you're ever not okay, Ball, you can always talk to me about it. I know I'm not the best at comforting anyone, but, I love you and I want to know if you're hurting or upset. You can always talk to me.
Ball will put his big hand on your shoulder and then just kind of gives you a nod and says, I'm going to go try to say another prayer.
Okay. I'll let you do that. We'll be just on the beach. Don't go far.
Ball kind of with his head, nods in the direction he's going to be headed to, which is kind of just near where this little entrance thing is, just kind of facing the water.
Okay, so Ball just finds a place along the beach nearby, looking out over the waters and marshlands in the distance and a few sparse trees every once in a while.
I actually did want to be not on the island, but on the beach.
Okay.
I want to sit down, take out a sheet of parchment, and try to sketch the face of the bloom heart.
The one that's here?
The one that's here.
Okay. Give me a artistry check.
So wait, what am I?
Roll a d20 and then add your dexterity.
That is a 14.
14. Okay. Yeah, you get a decent visual of what this is. Definitely the main features of it. Are you just doing the face?
Yeah, I'm focusing on the face. I'm thinking bringing this back to Hamel and seeing if anybody recognizes who this is.
Okay. So yeah, with a 14, you kind of focus more on the humanoid features and less on how they were altered. And you have a pretty decent drawing here. You think if someone knew them well, they might be able to recognize them.
Okay.
Okay. So unless there was something else, you guys take the next hour to kind of rest up, patch your wounds, and eventually an hour later or so, you guys find yourselves feeling a little bit better. You've caught your breath as the waves continue to roll in. You hear a as the last of the ice block melts and falls into the hole.
Well, should I swim down and get a look first?
I don't really like the idea of anybody going down there alone.
No, we definitely all need to stay together. No one going ahead. Kind of glance at Kalvyn. We're all staying together.
I was just going to be a fish, but...
Ball kind of hovers over this. What does it look like, this hole?
Yeah, so it's a stump. The stump itself goes up about 5 feet or so, and it's kind of a jagged, half-rotten stump where the tree fell. The diameter of the hole is about 4 feet. So it's a little small for a ball. The rest of you could easily or squeeze through, in Kalvyn's case, just because of the broad shoulders. But it's just the old form of these similar trees. It's a very big willow tree, probably at some time. There's a hatch that's open and a ladder that goes down about 30 feet till you see the water.
So you'll see kind of Ball hover over the stump and say, I think I will have to wait out here.
Does it seem to get wider as it goes down, or is it just at the top that it's narrow, or
it's
is it all
about the same width all the way down to the water. You can't see below the water, but it's the same width until you get there at least.
Okay, I lied. Some of us go and some of us stay back.
Well, I think that, at least for the time being, Ezekiel, as a rather small aquatic animal, probably has a decent shot at remaining undetected. So, Ezekiel, if you are offering to scout ahead a little bit, you have my vote.
I'll just go try and see how far it goes, see if we can make it. I may have a way, I think, of getting us through if it goes for a while, but why don't I just scout ahead a little bit, and I'll be right back.
I'll touch him before he goes and cast protection from good and evil.
And I'll give him an inspiration die. So for the next 10 minutes, you have an extra D8.
Awesome.
And Ball will cast Shield of Faith on you. So you have +2 AC in case something happens.
Awesome.
Buffed to hell. Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to help me. I'm going, because it's tiny, I'm just going to go regular octopus.
Okay. So you climb down the ladder, get to the bottom, and then splashing into it. It's murky and hard to see, but with your octopus form, you can see through it just a bit. As you travel down, it's a similar tube that goes down for another 30 feet, 35, 40, and then it stops. You can see it turns to the side and diagonals semi-north, northeast. It's a similar diameter tube. As you swim along that for another 1 minute goes by, a second minute goes by, a third, and then a fourth. And then you start to see the walls change. They're less just natural carved out by something, and you start to see pieces of smooth sandstone, something that's been deliberately made or smoothed over. Swimming for that last minute, you've been swimming for maybe 5 minutes, you see a surface swimming up to it, coming to the top. This area is a little bigger. It's maybe a 10 by 10 foot area where the surface reveals a ceiling maybe 10 foot above the water. You see a crack with just a faint glimmer of light beyond.
And about how long was that passage?
About 5 minutes from ladder to where you are now.
Okay, and it was pretty narrow the whole way?
It was it was pretty narrow the whole way. About 4, maybe 5 feet in some places, diameter tube.
Okay. I'm going to crawl out of the water just a little bit and just slap my tentacles on the ground and listen to see if anything comes towards me.
Okay, roll a perception check.
Okay. 9.
You listen for a little while. A couple minutes go by, nothing. You do hear very faintly, something heavy. That's all you can really tell with that perception check, but it was loud enough for you to hear it down in this area in your octopus form.
Okay. I'm going to bring myself back. It's been a while.
So you jump back in about 5 minutes later. So it's been about 10 minutes for the rest of you when you hear a splash and then look down and see Ezekiel climb up the ladder to rejoin you.
And she does in tentacle form? Or in octopus form? Like creepily crawling up the ladder?
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like just at that moment, Ball feels that his like shield of faith has faded. So, and then starts seeing this creepy thing coming out. So he's like starting to draw his blade, getting concerned.
But I'll pop back. Well, it's pretty far. I heard some kind of thumping. I didn't see any other openings as far as I went, but it is probably a little too far to swim without any aid.
How narrow was it?
Not big enough for a big boy here. About the same all the way down.
Well, if you don't want anything coming up through here, perhaps we can chop down a tree or two and stuff it in here, and maybe that'll hold them out.
I'm less worried about what's coming out as what's still down there that may be causing trouble further.
Do you think there's another entrance?
Perhaps. It's hard to tell. It does eventually, there is some kind of structure down there, and it opens up where we can breathe again. I mean, I could probably get those of us that'll fit through the tunnel, but as for Ball...
I could get him through, but not for that long. If it were less distance or if it widened up more, then...
I've waited before. You can go ahead. I will protect this entrance. Kind of a flashback to when Ball was at the cliffside.
I don't want you waiting here by yourself.
Well, do we leave a couple people here and the rest go down? I mean, try and find another way in? There was light, so something's down there. It may be an entrance somewhere if we can. I just didn't want to go too far and have you worry and try and come after me.
Which way did the tunnel turn?
I point in a direction that it turned.
Vaguely northeast-ish along the coast.
And I guess, like, looking northeast along the coast, does it look like there's just water, or does it look like there's... Like, would it be outlandish to think there might be some alternative entrance? Or is it just a bunch of water in front of us? And
I mean, it's a similar coastline to what you're on, which is kind of marshlands and then these sandbar small islands dotted every once in a while. Some of them are smaller, only a 10-foot diameter. Some are 20, 30 feet long. These kind of sandbar barrier islands along the coast. I mean, there could be something. It's hard to tell.
Is this something we necessarily need to pursue? And it seems like she was the one in charge.
As far as we know she lied quite a bit. We don't have to. If we want to just leave it, it just feels unfinished if we don't know what's down there and what she was running towards. She obviously wanted to flee down there, so there was something she was hoping to use against us, or if anything, maybe it was just a hiding place, but don't know.
Those sounds you heard might have been another troll, maybe?
Possibly. It might not have even been a creature. It could have just been the sound of the water somehow. Maybe. Probably a troll.
I agree that we shouldn't trust her, and I would like to see her taken care of. You see kind of Ball hesitates with his word choice there.
Why don't we check along the coast and see if we can find the other entrance before we go into this one?
Maybe there's a cave or something.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be, if there's something big down there, there has to be some way for it to get out.
True. Well, why don't we go look?
Okay. So you guys grab what you have, move back onto the coastline proper, and begin to head north looking for some sort of cave or any sort of entrance. Is that right? Okay. Whoever's leading this, give me some sort of survival check.
Would this be more Ezekiel kind of, you're trying to like envision you're still a little octopus?
Yeah, since I traveled it, I know I probably can't get a great perspective, but I would know when I've gone a little bit, at least gotten to where that room would have started. So I'll lead a survival. 22.
Okay. So walking along the coastline for about maybe 10 minutes or so. It slows you down in places you have to cross to an island, cross back every once in a while. But only about 10 minutes or so later, you see the side of what looks like a slope where there's a few more rocks, a few more trees, kind of a higher ground. And coming out between two rocks, you see a sandstone entrance, a archway. You see it has a small, maybe 5x5 platform of the sandstone, and it's only about 5 feet from the water's edge. You see this sandstone archway curved, and you see a doorway of old wood that's nearly rotten away. You see there's a small, looks like some sort of metal, maybe iron, locking mechanism.
So it's a closed doorway?
It's currently closed, and there are inscribed into the sandstone as you get closer the same similar swirling inscriptions that the Verdana have tattooed on them.
Well, I can probably take care of this lock, or can at least try, but I'm a little bit concerned about these markings. Do you think there's some kind of trap here?
That's perfectly possible. Ezekiel, can you read what these markings are, since you know their language?
I'm not sure if it's script. Is it language or it's more just symbols?
It's ornamental, yeah. It doesn't seem to be words or script.
I touch the door.
You touch a somewhat moist old wood.
There it is. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
We all die?
I just kind of look at him like, I have plenty of ideas.
Can I investigate the door for traps?
Sure. You can roll an investigation check.
Okay. Hey, that is 23.
Okay. Looking around the edges, you can actually see the bottom. The wood is rotted more, and you can kind of see a crack under there. Feeling along the edges, inspecting it, there doesn't seem to be any trap. Nudging on it just a bit, you can tell it is locked, though there's a give to it. It goes about an inch and a half before stopping. This is an old, almost rotted out door.
Well, Ellory, you can try to get through the lock, but I have a good feeling that either Kalvyn or Ball with a swift hit will just knock this thing over, so...
I'll give it a try just for the fun of it.
Okay, give me a Thieves' Tools check.
14.
Yeah, so you go in, you feel, and you wouldn't even call it a lock. There's a latch on the other side, and you just push it up, ching, and have it swing on the other side. The door loosens just a bit, cracks another inch.
Okay, that was too easy to even be fun. And I will push the door open.
Okay. Pushing it open, you see the interior is the similar sandstone. It's ornamentally decorated with similar swirl designs. You can see it's about 10 feet wide, this hallway platform, with an arched roof. You can see there's a 10 by 10 foot staircase platform where you first would enter. You see a staircase that goes down maybe 25, 30 feet before you see the beginnings of another room that's maybe 20 feet wide that you can't see all of it from your current perspective without going in.
Are we going to bother being quiet?
Yeah, we can try.
Clang, 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 clang.
Yeah.
Are we going to bother sending somebody quiet ahead first? I should say.
Damn it.
Klouse, do you want to mute your mic as you roll for our deaths?
Oh, no, that was on purpose.
Of course it was.
I mean, if someone wants to sneak ahead, we can be close behind, but I'm going to make noise.
Ellory, you and I?
Sure. Let's take a look.
Self-checks, you too.
I can protection from evil. Good. One more person saw the Amsen.
15.
I got a 13.
Okay.
I will protection from evil on Ellory, then that I can do.
Okay. So, protecting before these two move in, you see the staircase goes down about 25 feet. Now that you're in here and can see well, you can see about halfway down the staircase, there's a crack. It's about 2-3 feet wide crack. You can look down and see the shimmering of dark waters beneath. Stepping over this crack, you see a room, and I'm going to actually go ahead and throw you guys on the board. That way you guys can kind of see this a little bit better. Alright, so Ellory and Amsen. So the rest of you guys are outside. Don't worry about what you see. So yeah, so coming down, you guys are free to move as you see fit. Well, you at least made it into this room, so I'll move you there.
Very first thing, that looks like something nasty on the stairs.
That is the hole down into what appears to be water, maybe 15, 20 feet beneath. In this room, there's maybe 20 feet by maybe 40 feet room. It's kind of a narrow, long, with a ceiling that's maybe 12 foot tall, again, sort of rounded, domed at the top. In each of the four corners of this room, you see a sandstone altar of some sort, or what looks like maybe a casket. Two of them are cracked and semi-opened, the tops of which have been broken, and one of them is either cracked and thrown to the side. The other two have not been touched. There's a faintly lit torch on the wall, and ahead of you, you see a doorway, but with no door. You just see a thick, dark curtain. It looks like it was maybe a mast of some ship before.
I would like to see what I can see. You said that these were cracked. I'd like to, to take a look at the closest one that's cracked.
Sure. Looking in it, you see it's cracked open. Inside, you see a few bones, some of which it looks like there's cloth in there as well, and a few other like tiny old jars. Looks like an old knife of some sort. Looks like someone was buried here. Judging, it looks like it had been a while, a long while.
While she's looking into that, Amsen would like to just give a quick sweep of the room and see how safe it is in terms of, traps or if it's structurally sound or anything like that.
Okay. Investigation check as you look around as Ellory sees this old body. On the other two, it looks like there's urns as well, just simple things.
That's caught, so I'm going to roll again. 21.
21, okay. Looking around, you notice the urns as well. Nothing appears to be chapped. You don't see any sort of arcane glyphs or any sort of runes that might explode. Structurally, there's a little bit of uneasiness towards the stairs. The rest of the stairs might collapse under immense weight. But this room itself is underground and seems pretty sturdy. With that investigation check, you see it's almost definitely a mast that's used to block sight into the next room. But you do see vaguely shapes on the other side, silhouettes from the light that you can just barely make out. They're only maybe 3 feet tall. There's 2 of them, and they're standing right up against the cloth, just on the other side. You also hear words, Sasvis, Plasaphodoskis, nearly whispered. What languages do you speak?
Common, Elven, and Dwarven.
Okay. You don't understand what it's saying, but you hear Safasiel, Dosakiel, Sadla. You hear another voice, distinctly different. Similar language, though you can't quite make it out. And then you hear Salif Sakor. You hear another voice. You hear these similar voices every now and then before you hear steps. Followed by the clank of chains and these heavy You see a silhouette of something massive on the other side. And you hear,
do we both hear this
at this point? You can definitely hear the big steps.
I tap Amsen's shoulder and I start backing back towards the staircase.
Yeah, I do the same.
Okay. You back out as you hear something heavy being moved. More steps, and then it being returned as you make your way back up to the steps towards the door, just slowly backing out.
All right. So, when we get back to the rest of the group, I'll regale them of our tale very quickly. It's dark down there. The stairs are a little bit weak. They might collapse underneath us. But there are people down there, and they are speaking a language that I don't know. They seem to be doing something.
I think they know that we're here. Or that somebody's here.
Well, shall we go have a conversation?
Let's go. We should probably take the stairs one at a time, though.
All right.
Why? What's wrong with the stairs?
They're weak. There's a large hole in the middle of them, and it seems to go further down into some sort of cave or something. And then the rest of the stairs, especially around that area, seem to be quite weak.
Then if something big is coming up the stairs to attack us, don't we want to be at the top? So it has to go through it.
It's a good point.
I say we camp out at the top of the stairs and make a bunch of noise.
Well, if they think they were heard already and they didn't follow them out, we could try. Oi! And I call down.
Your voice echoes down. You hear light steps down the bottom. And you hear
back up.
The clanking of chains. You hear a shake as dust kind of falls from the ceiling. Another a few more times. And you hear that continues coming from below, but after a minute or two, nothing comes up.
Oh, yeah, we probably should have mentioned that. It sounds like something is chained up down there. Something large and dangerous.
Stairs it is, then. There goes my plan.
Before we head down there, because I picked it as the one spell of 3rd level to memorize, I'm going to cast water breathing on us in case something goes bad. I can get 10 people, so the whole party is good. Just in case you can, and it starts filling up, we won't drown.
Well, that's good.
I'm kind of curious, what does it look like when you do water breathing? Like, does it make gills on us?
Nothing when you're out of the water, but as you go under, a little bubble of air will appear around you.
Okay.
I like it. So you guys are starting to squeeze, though you can't all fit in just the top. But as you enter in, you see the staircase. About halfway up, there's a crack. It's only maybe 3 foot wide. In the stairs, Ezekiel, you figure that's the crack where the light came through you saw earlier. And then below, you see another room with a few caskets of sewn.
We're not trying to sneak, right?
Right.
I'm going to cast light on my holy symbol then. Stay it dark.
Paul?
Okay.
I'm a little worried about you on these stairs.
Does it look like it could be, jumped over?
For you, easily. Yeah. You have to take care to not hit the ceiling, but you can easily go over it.
Okay, then I'll communicate that and say, I think I can step over it.
Just be careful not to land on the stairs too hard.
Yeah.
I think the room I was in was down there.
There's no, real railing, but can Ball kind of push, kind of support some of his weight against the walls by kind of...
Grab the sides? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. You want to give me an athletics check to get down there?
No, I don't.
Oh, wait, Ball. I have something that can help just in case, but I don't want to do it unless you're okay with it.
It doesn't look too hard. I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
And then Ball will try to do it. And Here comes the natural one.
Here we go.
13.
Okay. Yeah, it's not too hard. It's only about 3 foot wide gap. So you grab the sides and kind of use it to guide yourself down and keep from hitting the ceiling. You slam at the bottom of the stairs where you see this maybe 20 by 40 foot room. There's a few stone caskets at the bottom, 2 of which have been cracked open, a few urns, and you see the cloth separating the next room ahead of you. Are you on the map? I just realized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a check to get over that, or can I just head down after?
Anyone else, it's not a big deal. And Ball could have stepped over. It was just more of will the weight break, so everyone else can easily kind of step over without too much trouble.
And how far away does it sound like that? It's a giant sound?
Like on the other side of the cloth, maybe 30 feet beyond it, something. You're not sure.
Ball will use Divine Sense.
Okay.
So you can kind of suss out what this noise is.
Okay. And that's 60 feet, and it's Fae, Fiends, and Undead?
Not Fae with Divine Sense, actually.
So
Fiend,
Fiends,
Undead, and Celestial.
And Celestial. You sense none of the above, actually.
I believe it's from this plane, whatever it is.
I will try calling out in Sylvan. Friends, perhaps we can come out and talk?
Fuck off. You hear a small voice say just around the corner.
I don't think they're friendly.
Really, what was your first clue? The fight we fought up there, or the ambush in the middle of the night, or...
I'm gonna go towards the cloth and try and push it over with my stick.
Okay. At this point, I'm gonna have you all roll initiative. So go ahead and roll initiative in the chat, and then a little early for a break, but let's go ahead and take it. It's a good point. So roll initiative, and then we'll be back at 9:20. So it gives you all a few minutes. So just roll it, and then be back at 9:20.
Next time on Back to the Story.
Deep blue-violet skin, a hooked nose, 2 horns coming out, black hair, jet black, looks very similar to the dead one you saw above. This is a massive and very hardy creature. As it grabs you, lifts you into the other room and slams you onto the ground. So you are prone, face down there, as he's then going to reach up his leg and try to stomp onto you. You can feel your armor bending in as it puts its weight upon you.
All right, everybody.
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.